Hi, this is Lisa Schmid with the Stamper Studio. Welcome to Wonder Wednesday. So today, Wednesdays are a day. Wonder Wednesday is a day when if there's something you want to know about, you can let me know and I will tell you, like, why did I buy that? What do I do with this? How do I use this? Those kinds of things. You just let me know and I'd be happy to show you. Tonight, what I'm going to show you is sometimes when you're new to stamping, the catalog can be a little overwhelming because either like you want everything, but that's unrealistic. So what do you get? How do you start? Where do you start? There's so many things. That's what I'm going to show you tonight. I'm going to show you a couple of different kits that you could get and what you can kind of think about as far as how do I decide what to get. Okay? Yes, or if you have a friend who says, well, I want to do that, but what do I get? So instead of saying, I don't know, say, hey, watch that video and she'll tell you. All right, so let me go ahead and show you or tell you. I put together a couple things. You always are going to need basic white cardstock or vanilla, if you prefer vanilla. And then our cardstock comes 8.5 by 11. Our cardstock comes in it comes in packs. I don't have my catalog right here, but it comes in packs. And so you could get an assorted pack of cardstock. So let's say I love the bold colors. So I'm going to get an assorted pack of those colors with my white. Now, I need to choose a stamp set, obviously, right? So my options are, I choose a stamp set. Why are you laughing?
Barb still wants everything.
Well, I was going to say that, except if you're Barb, you can buy everything. So you choose a stamp set that you like. This one happens to come with a punch. So I would want the stamp set and the punch. And because this one is solid images, it's not something I'm going to color, kind of the choices are, do I get stamp pads? That's one choice. Or would I get Stampin' Spots? And I'll tell you the difference of those. So these are itty bitties, little Stampin' Spots. So stamp pad or stamp set, that's your first thing. That's the very first thing you're going to choose is what stamp set do I want? Because that's going to determine probably your colors. Are you going to get a punch or are you going to get dies? And so this particular one, the stamp set, the punch, with a bone folder, which I think is very handy. You're always going to want to get black ink.
You're going way too fast.
I'm going way too fast.
Slow it down.
Sorry.
So, the stamp set?
The stamp set, you choose a stamp set, and if it comes with a punch, great. If not, dies. I'll talk to you about that in a second. Definitely going to want a bone folder because you can use it for scoring. You can flatten out your creases. Always going to want to get black ink. And then you choose a family of colors. So bold brights, maybe you're more of a soft, subtle person, meaning these colors that are a little bit softer. There we go, kind of these colors. Or maybe you are a rich regal, which are kind of those deep colors like these. Oopsie, let's see. Let me straighten that out and I'll show you that. There we go, regals are right here. Crushed curry, real red is a regal, these colors right here. So the dark kind of rich colors are real regals. So those are, that's a choice you make. Then with this particular stamp set, I would want just stamp pads. And so the choice is, do I want these stamp pads, which are $7.50 each, and then I buy, how many do I want? I really could do with just a couple colors, a few colors. Or if you want more colors, you could get the Stampin' Spots. They come 12 in a box, little box, for $24. Now, both have benefits. They both have benefits. With Stampin' Spots, you're going to get more colors. But with the stamp pads, obviously, they're bigger, and you might want to keep going and collect all of them or many of them. So let me show you what I put together here to show you about this particular set. There's our cute grandbabies. This particular set is right here. Pardon? I know, or did I just do it online? Oh, well. So this set right here, starter kit with the punch. So you could do the punch either with the 3 stamp pads or with the little Stampin' Spots is $100. Now, when you purchase that, you would also get 2 celebration items. And so celebration items are things you can get out of the celebration catalog for increments of $50 or $100. So that's a great way to get some paper, great way to get stamps, things like that. So for this particular one is what I just showed you. Okay, so that's about $100. If you wanted to add like a designer series paper, you could add a designer series paper for $11.50. So that would just bump that up a little bit. Okay, so that's what it would be if you went with a stamp set and dies. Obviously, this stamp set is a solid stamp set. Okay, let's look at a different stamp set. What if we went with a stamp set that had dies with it? So I want the stamp set, the dies. I'm still going to need the same things, except that the colors I pick, now this one again, there's no coloring in. The colors I pick, I want to coordinate. So in that case, I would choose perhaps one of the flowers that I would like. So let's say I said I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to go with Flirty Flamingo and Real Red, and then I want a green, so maybe Old Olive. That's like tried and true for this right here, for the leaves. So that would be 3 stamp pads again. And the only difference with this one, still get the basic white, still get the, or vanilla, still get the, I'm going to go Bold Brights. They just make me happy, so have to put these out. Still get your assorted paper. And so if you could do that route, and that would be, that one is, if you were to get dies like this one, it's about $115. Now that's not with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, because that's $60 for the small one or $120 for the full size. But if you're using it mostly for dies, you could get the small one. So if you're not sure, the bigger one is great for folders, but if you're not there yet, you could start here. Okay, so that would be $115 plus. Again, you get those 2 celebration items. Okay, so the other one I want to show you is what if, so we've got that with dies. That just takes a little bit more because you have to have the machine to run them through, right? And with all of these, of course, you're going to want some adhesive. That's important. And I will tell you, I've used cheap white cardstock. It's not worth it. You can see through it. So that means if I make a mistake and I turn it over, I can see through it. I have to throw it away. So Stampin' Up! Cardstock really is very, very good. Now, what if this is a free stamp set, the donkeys, and obviously we would want to color them. So again, I want the black ink. I still want an assorted pack of paper. I maybe don't need the stamp pads, but instead I'm going to buy some of the Stampin' Blends. And these are $9 for a set of 2. Okay, so once you get them, I will tell you, you kind of will want more, right, Barb? They are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Obviously with the adhesive. Okay, and that's what I have right here. So this one right here is a starter kit with coloring. Well, the stamp set's free. So that stamp set is free. So you have Stampin' Blends, black ink, white or vanilla cardstock, assorted cardstock, a bone folder, and adhesive would be $70, and then you would get that stamp set for free. So those are some things to consider when you're trying to decide how to start. I'm going to reiterate, my biggest suggestion is start with the stamp set, because that will lead you as to whether you want the stamp set and dies, whether you want the stamp set and a punch, whether you just are going to do the stamp set. So first, stamp set. Second, colors. You want to choose a color family that you really, really like. So a color family that you, oh, those are so pretty. And then you can choose a color family, get assorted paper with your white or vanilla. Always going to want a black, always want a bone folder, always want adhesive. So really the choices you make are the stamp set Is it punch or dies? And then what kind of ink do I want? Do I want fully loaded ink, which these are bigger, so maybe they're a little bit, you could just set them down and you're stamping in them. But the smaller ones, what you do with these is you take the ink and you put it on top of the stamp. So you hold the stamp and put it on top of it. They both work well. They're just different. So if you get these, you would probably end up getting re-inkers sooner. So that's the ink to put on it. They're $3.25. So that you would probably end up getting a little bit sooner than you would with the full-size pad.
Let's just be honest. If you buy the Stampin' Up, you're going to end up buying stamp pads. So
Okay.
just order a few less, but start with pads and just start building your collection.
All right. Hopefully you could hear everything he just said. He said, let's be honest. If you start with these, you're going to end up wanting these. So why don't you just start with these? Okay, fair enough. And then start building your collection. And I don't know if you noticed, these actually stack. They have a little hole. And on the bottom, there's a little hole. So they actually stack quite nicely, straight up and down. The other thing I'm going to just show you about these, and you might not know that, but on the back, when it comes, there's stickers. One of the stickers goes right in here. I didn't know that for a long time, but that's so when it's open, I know what color it is. Brilliant. I thought that was such a good idea. Tammy says the Stampin' Up! Adhesive is really good. Cheap stuff doesn't stick. Exactly right. Exactly right. It's the same thing with the paper. That's what I'm telling you. That is for sure. Then, of course, once you've got your base, you can expand into folders and different stamp sets and all sorts of things. We know designer series paper, right? All sorts of things. But that is a starting place for you. The last thing I want to tell you is that if you really do indeed, you look at it and you think, well, good grief, I really do want it all, then this is kind of the way to go. If you join Stampin' Up!, so if you become a demonstrator, you get to choose $125 worth of products, anything you want. So what I just showed you, you could get those for $99 plus. You get more than that. Plus you get all the different designer series paper, the 6x6. So that's a $57.50 value. So that means all the bold brights, the soft subtles, the in colors, all of them. You get 5 packs. Dave has a question. He's raising his hand. Yes, Dave.
Don't I also need to get some blocks?
Oh, bingo. Blocks. Yes. I forgot. Yes, you would need some blocks as well. Correct. You need some clear blocks. One thing that is very handy, in case you didn't know, I'll just show you on this one. Every stamp set tells you, I'm going to use this stamp set right here. So every stamp set, it has on it, exactly what the suggested clear blocks are. You're right. So you probably need to add $15 or so. But it has the suggested clear blocks. And so this one says B, C, D, G. So you could get different sizes. Somebody said to me, don't you think I should just get the biggest size? And I would say no. Because if this was my whole stamp pad or stamp block, let's say this is my block, and I put a little stamp on it, what's going to happen is when I ink it and then I stamp it, I'm going to get a line because this is so big compared to my little stamp. So you can go a little bit bigger, but you don't want to get the biggest size and just use that for everything. I think that'll end up with a bit of frustration.
Before we go back, Jenny wants to know what a folder is.
Oh, I will grab some. No, I got them. I got them. So a folder, let's grab these blocks. So a folder, thank you for asking. They are 3D embossing folders. I'm just going to go back for 1 second about the block. So if I were to put a stamp on this and I ink it in my stamp pad, because the stamp is little, I'm going to get ink on the edges. So when I stamp it, it will come up with a line. So I don't mind it being a little bit bigger, but I don't want a huge block for a small stamp. So here are the blocks, clear blocks. So I think like B and C, you could go to C instead of B if you're trying to cut down. Of course, you could get the whole bundle. And there also is a storage caddy if you want a place to put them. So this is foam and they stick in there nice and tight. The ones I use the most, absolute most, are C and D. I also like A because it's a little square, G, and H. But then sometimes I. It depends on what you're making. All right, let's be serious. Just buy the whole kit. It depends on what you're making. That's what I tell you again. It depends on what you're making. A folder, for example, this is the fine art. We call this a folder, 3D embossing folder. And it makes paper that looks like this. And so this we put through so I put my paper in here and then I put it through my Stampin' Cut emboss machine and it comes out with the embossing on it. Here's another one. This one right here, this background. I don't know if you can't see that one as well, but that one has 3D. So the embossing folders come in 2 sizes. So this is a smaller size and it's 3 inches. So good for like the side of something, but it's not going to cover the whole front because to do it twice, you end up with a line down the middle. You don't want that. Or these are obviously the regular size. There also is one bigger size, and that is this one. Now, this is not going to fit in that small Stampin' Cut emboss machine. So again, that's kind of one of those things like, yes, it costs more, but it works for everything. Whereas if you get the smaller one, you're probably going to get the bigger one at some point. Just get the bigger one out of the gate. Isn't that so pretty? This is Parisian Flourish. I think it's so pretty. So these are folders. Great question.
There was also a question about how you organize your stuff.
Oh, so great. Love it. So you can organize. We sell organizers, and you can use them for stamp pads. They also have specific ones for the Stampin' Blends, which I love. I have several of these because then they're not just sitting in a pile. I find it's very efficient for me because I can take them out quickly, put them back in. So you could create something like this. They set on top of each other. Punches, a great thing for punches is the towel bar from IKEA because the punch can sit open on the towel bar. And that works really, really well. And you can get a lot of punches if you have a place to put it. But these are some great, when you get this, you get, let's say for the Stampin' Blends, I get the storage trays, and I want the top. For me, I want a top on it, and then I can extend it if I needed more. Okay, the open storage cube would be like for the for the punches, and then the topper is nice because then you can put your ink refills right there with it. Okay, so yeah, kind of handy. This is also good for ribbon. Yeah, and I say it again.
Embellishment containers could stack up in the big one.
Yeah, embellishment containers. I didn't even know because I don't have it like this, but this is kind of fun for the regular markers. If you have those to match, that's a fun way to do it. And they have blocks in there too. So yes, other questions? That's awesome. Stamparatus. I heard that. Yep, that's a great tool also. Any other questions? Those are good questions. I tend to rock the block if the block's too big. Yeah, exactly right. So if you have a smaller stamp and you tend to put it down and and then you get a line, which is a bummer. So that's why the smaller stamps or blocks are sometimes better for what you're using. Yeah, good questions. What are folders? The other way I like to organize supplies, I mean, obviously that's pretty slick, is baskets. And I almost want to,
Which one do you want?
well, no, I don't want the whole basket. What I really want to do is this. So Dave's going to talk to you for just a moment. Go team, go.
So the question was, what if I want to order everything? If you want to order everything, you definitely need to join as a demonstrator because over the next year, you will have no problem spending your $300 a quarter. Now, I can tell you, even if you want a lot of things, joining is your best deal because you will be spending $300 a quarter. And you will get 20% off, you'll get free stuff, you will get so much more than if you just buy it yourself. So,
yeah, if
you truly want everything, joining is the way to go.
All right. So I just took some pictures because it's an easy way to show you. So I keep my paper cutter out. That would be another tool if you don't have a paper cutter, you need one. Right next to the paper cutter, that's where I keep a trash, of course, because I cut and I put things in the trash or they pile up here and then I move them over. Dave did just buy for me some shower caddies, organizers that we're going to hammer or screw into here. We're going to hang here to get rid of this stuff because I'm feeling crowded and I want more space. This is a scorer, and I used to not keep it out. It doesn't make sense not to have it out if you have the space. That's it. All comes down to if you can have the space, then I can have my paper cutter. I can score right next to it. And as you can see, I have these different baskets with some different things in it. Let's see. Whoops. This way. There's the towel racks I was mentioning. These I know you can get at IKEA. So you can keep towel or Target. I don't know. These came from IKEA. This thing we got in Branson, Missouri at a thrift store. So I can't tell you about that. But these are definitely ways to keep your punches. They do close. So stacking them or getting some kind of stacking thing, that also works. But these are actually all open. And obviously the ones I use the most, I keep on the lower part, and then the top I can barely reach. So my stamps are just on shelves, but here's the Stampin' Blends organizers. And as you saw, I keep the folders. Barb asked me this one time. I keep my dies and the folders I just showed you, they go right here. The bag or the basket goes right here. And so she asked me how I remember what stamp sets go with what dies. And honestly, I just remember. Some people put these together, but I don't like to do that because sometimes I want to use dies with a different stamp set, and I don't want to go hunting for it. These little containers just came from probably the dollar store or Target or somewhere like that to keep my little embellishments. I used to keep them in a drawer, but that wasn't very good because I dig through, they fall off. I don't know what I have. Whereas this is very quick and easy to see. Don't look at the messy part. I didn't plan to show you everything. This box right here is where I keep my 6x6 designer series paper, and I actually take it out and put it in another cello bag. I keep it in what it comes in as long as it works, and as soon as it rips, then I put it in a different bag so I can flip through these. I think I took one more picture. Nope, I don't think so. That's what I took to show you. Hopefully that's helpful.
Karen says she keeps her Stampin' Blends in the wide stamp cases, so like the old wood ones.
Sure. That could definitely work too. I think the key, my friends, the key is if you have to go to a closet. Now, of course, we don't all have space to do that. I get that. But if you have to go to a closet and take out a bucket and set it up, you're just not going to stamp as much as if it's somewhere accessible where you can just walk up, get what you need, and do it. Kind of like that. I always think of like the sewing machine. If my sewing machine's out, I'm more likely to use it to mend. Otherwise, letting the stuff pile up and then obviously not using it as much. So that's what I have learned, that it's much easier if things are accessible. If you can create some little space. I used to, in our old house, I had a very tiny space in the basement. It was really creepy. That's what our son said. Kind of creepy down here. It was very creepy, but I had shelves behind me, shelves in front of me, and it just worked out really, really well because then I can store my things. So I had everything within reach, which was interesting. One time I heard an animal up in the crawl space. I didn't like that. And Dave wasn't home. I was like, I'm done. I'm out of here. So friends, I want to show you one other thing. Just remember this Thursday is, I'll move my iPad. Friday is the last day to register for Quick Stamp. These are the cards we'll be making. There we go. And we're using Quite Curvy and Fine Art Floral. If you do not have Fine Art Floral, I am going to die cut out of the designer series paper, so you will still have that image to put on there. I can't stamp it for you. And then this one, you will use your own sentiment. And if you don't have a flower, you can put something else, a butterfly or anything there. But I will give you this paper like this. Isn't that so pretty? This is the free designer series paper. I'll show you what's on the back. It's right here. It's right here. It's this one. It is this one right here. But this is probably my favorite one out of that free pack. So anyway, sign up by Friday. These are really fun cards. Super fun. $15. Pretty cheap for 4 cards in the market. All right. I think that's it. Thank you so much. I look forward to, I know Jenny and some of us are stamping tomorrow night. We're making sweet little Valentines. And then on Saturday in the studio, I am featuring the Strawberry Blessings. That was Berry Blessings stamp set. So you'll not want to miss that. They're super cute, of course. So I'll show you one that's super easy and one that takes a little bit more, has a little bit more pieces and stuff to it. So have a great evening. Thanks for joining us. I want to thank you. Last month I had my best month ever with Stampin' Up, and that's because of you. So appreciate it. I know I always say stamping makes me happy. I hope it makes you happy too. It's a great time to try a new hobby if you don't stamp. All right. Have a great evening and happy stamping.